The Village of Hainesville regular board meeting will now come to order on Tuesday, May 24th, 2016 at 6:30 p.m. And before we rise and I lead us in the pledge, I would like to say that immediately following, we're going to have a moment of silence in memory and recognition of Dr. Malia Johnson, a local resident and business owner that we lost tragically in a car accident. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Linda.
Present.
Trustees Darrenowski.
Here.
Georgianne Duberstein. Here. Barrett is absent. Hine. Here. Daly.
Here.
And George Duberstein.
Here.
Okay, we are in quorum. Trustee Garrett wanted me to announce he just received a new offer of employment and he is in Denver for the week with training. The good news is he will no longer be working 2 jobs, so his schedule will be more flexible and accommodating to the village needs. So we expect to have him back with us next week. Can I have a motion for approval of tonight's agenda?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Darrenowski.
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein. Hine.
Aye.
Daly.
Aye.
And George Duberstein.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, and in the nick of time, we're going to public comments. And I think a resident just walked in that would like to make a comment.
Sure.
I'm going to ask you to quick fill out the sheet that we have to give to the clerk. I have a pen if you need it, Mary, if there's not one back there.
You should be pencils.
Yeah, her pencils is fine, yeah. Is there any other public comments? Any other takers? Madam Clerk? And then we're going to send you to the mic and you can state your name and address for the record.
Mary Rogan, my address is 269 Wilson Drive in Hainesville. I was fortunate enough to meet Mike today. He came over to my house. I had reported that there was some water damage in the backyard. It actually affects everybody who's on that corner of Deerview and Hunter's Way, and then it actually comes a little bit further from us Drive. So there's a house on the corner that's no longer occupied by anyone who owns it, okay?
So it's a rental.
It's a rental.
property.
Correct.
Yes.
And so the people who were there were instructed to come up with a solution for their drainage issue, which involves their sub pump. And so he put in a drainage pipe that is now exiting between all of our yards. And he did it when we had that giant rain, and we have like pretty significant standing water. And the reason why I'm late is I was talking to my Pat Kniff next to me, talking to him, and I didn't realize he has damage under his fence as well.
So damage meaning erosion, not just standing erosion.
Erosion to his fence that's occurring underneath, which he wasn't aware of. But then he said, I took a closer look because he said, I know that I brought it to the attention of Moira, his wife. So then, so it's the people behind me, Rich and Carolyn, who couldn't be here because they have 3-year-old children. They're very busy. And then it affects me, and then Pat, and then of course this house that has the renters in it. It's, their garage is completely wrecked. I can't mow my yard back there because it's so wet. I can't even get a mower through it. But the grass, I mean, I could be in violation. My grass is pretty high back there. Now I've taken a weed whacker to it, but I mean, I can't get a mower back there because it's just so wet. So I had talked to Mike about it. He was going to talk to the engineer, and they were going to come up with a solution potentially to try to tie into the sewer drain there. The sewer drain is higher than the ground, and the ground is low there, but it's not making it to the sewer drain.
Well, there's a couple issues there,
There's a lot of
Gary.
issues there.
Yeah, there's a 284 Deerview, for the record, Drive is the house we're talking about. We've had issues with this landlord before. Ironically, we've been chasing him and sent him a notice about compliance on this, or that we would take action to repair it and bill him and then ultimately lien the property. So he's smart, he's been down this road before, so he'll wait to the final limit of days we have to wait to take that action. So I heard from him today, we did have some discussion. Is this the party you referred to?
Yeah.
Okay. So he is on notice to submit a plan immediately, or the village will indeed take action. However, the erosion is a new factor. I mean, I just thought it was a lot of pooling water.
Yes.
The erosion, and really, again, I mean, that is the homeowner's obligation to correct it. It's not our job to correct it. I mean, we'll correct it and bill them for it, but it's not the village's obligation to take care of people's sump pump lines. We are going to see that it's addressed, okay? But he also has to be held accountable for the, cost involved.
Right.
So, as far as the erosion, I think we also need to get somebody from the building department out there as well and take a look at it. Because I don't know, Steve, do you think that you need to be out there on something like this?
I think I want to just take a look at it.
Okay, all right, okay, all right. So we will keep you posted and action will be moving forward quickly, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Very much.
Okay. And thank you for coming. I don't know if you wanted to add anything. She did mention some of your concerns.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, if you can, we're gonna need a sheet in the back for you to fill out for the record. And she does have 3 adorable
I
children.
told you they're
You're very well mannered.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, the owner of the rental property has diverted the discharge from their sump to a place where water is just sitting or flowing?
Yeah, they never had it addressed properly, and a list of violations that they were asked to address by the building department last summer and then last fall, because they had issues after the tornado that didn't get addressed. We told them to correct the sump pump line, and the landlord asked the young tenant, who has no clue how to fix this stuff, to fix it. He made it worse.
Now, this is a new development, this is something that's been there on the west since
Oh, God, no.
Thank you.
I'm sure that she mentioned everything.
Yeah, I need you to talk in the mic,
I'm
yeah.
sure she mentioned everything, but I just want to mention the problems it's been causing for us is like my kids have fallen into it, and my head to toe. My dogs are constantly muddy and stuff. And then we also have a vegetable garden in our yard, and I'm worried about what kind of bacteria is growing in that water and going into our garden that we feed
Sure.
our kids.
One thought that comes to mind, I mean, we're gonna address this pretty quickly now that we've reached that magic legal timeline, but is there any, do you think if we put up any kind of temporary fencing to at least keep the kids and the animals out of the water, that would help till we could get the work done, or?
She did drop off some chicken wire that we're gonna put around the money part to keep the kids nice.
Well, we'll have Mike and Steve take a look at it and see if we can come up with something better, okay?
Yeah, because it's also a hazard in the other yard too, and they have a daughter, a little one too. So
Yeah,
I can't imagine that's good for her. I'm sure they're trying to keep her out of that, but
yeah,
probably not good for her either.
yeah, okay, we get it. All right, thank you for coming up and letting us know. Okay, last call for public comments. Okay, let's move on to the omnibus. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Dermowski. Georgianne Duberstein. Pine.
Aye.
Daly.
Aye.
And George Duberstein.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, we'll move on to reports and communications. We starting with our village engineer, Steve Zanger.
Yes, good evening. I have just a few short items to address. The village has received some plans from IDOT just last week. Those are the pre-final design plans. Those design plans have to do with three big items that are going to affect the village. Number one is a signalization interconnect between 134 and Allegheny Road. Item number two is a right-hand turn lane down here at Hainesville Road. And item number three is a sidewalk just to the south that'll go out in front of that Rousseau property. Couple other items that we've been attending to here. There is a little bit of a drainage issue that's going on around Cranberry Lake, just south of, just north of Tall Oak Drive. We put together just a little bit of an action plan, give Mike something to do when he's not busy doing anything else. There's also another drainage issue. I'm so sorry. But we're working with the county on that. It has to do with some drainage ways that were previously established, but over the past 10 years have grown in and now have almost zero slope, so there is no actual pitch. And with no pitch, we're getting some back flooding, back watering conditions. So we're continuing to work with the county to establish some sort of mechanism. I'm hoping that the issue that these folks have isn't just another extension of that, which would just mean another.
I don't believe it is.
That's
I mean,
right.
I appreciate you looking, and I think that's a good idea, but I think it's strictly the homeowner or the renter not knowing how to do this properly. So by trying to fix something that was bad, they made it worse.
All right, and that's the end of my report.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Okay, we do not have an attorney here tonight, so we'll move on to Public Works. Mike DePauw.
Thank you, Mayor. Chris Electric has been very busy at the village recently. He replaced 2 exit signs in the Public Works building. The wall pack fixture above the back door of the village hall has been replaced with a new LED wall pack. The ballast in the recessed can above the blueprint cabinet has been replaced. The broken light at Law House 1 has been replaced with a new LED pack. He also informed me that he was supposed to be out this week to start installing the 2 streetlights that need to be done. Whether or not he shows up is another story. So we will see.
Well, we hope so.
See if he gets here. I ordered a tank of gasoline. We are using Avalon Petroleum for our gas for our vehicles as well as the generators at the well houses. Avalon was the best price from the 3 companies I contacted. I have contracted the company Weed Man Lawn Service, I know Weed Man. Weed Man Lawn Service for our weed control and fertilization. We will be getting 3 treatments throughout the season, with each treatment costing $1,015 for a total of $3,045 for the year. The first application was applied May 20th. B&B Power Sweeping has completed the process of sweeping our streets and the village hall. I think they did a great job, and I would use their services again next year. The last week has been exciting for me as our seasonal employees have started to return. But unfortunately, we're losing one already. His last day is June 11th. He got a full-time job with Baxter. So I wish him congratulations. Oh, I'm losing a good guy. That's all I have, thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Yes, and that's Brandon Seiler, and he did tell us when he was returning up front that he was pursuing an internship. So we were selfishly hoping that it would take longer for him to find something, and selfishly hoped it would be part-time only so we could still keep him. But we wish him all the best with his recent graduation from college. So.
Do we have anybody in line?
We have a couple suggestions from him coming, so we'll see that order. Okay, so next up we have our police chief, Phil.
Hello. We had a couple burglary autos the other night, so I'd just like to remind everyone to lock your car doors. If we're not locked, then that's how the bad guys did. And again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but to get into your car, most likely you got a garage door opener in there and get into your house. So please lock your cars. That's it.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to our treasurer, Kelly Hensley.
Okay, not looking for approval for the April financials, I just wanted to give them to the trustees and the mayor so we're aware of where we're at for April. The reason why I'm not asking for approval is because we're still undergoing our audit process and there's always year-end adjustments, and I have a few more that I need to make internally before the auditors come out. So once that process is all done and they give me any of theirs at the end of the audit, you'll get a new April. But they will be out in June, like the mid-June for 2 days, and then the last week of June to do the audit. But you will at the next meeting in May get the May financials, and again, it will be like this, not for approval, but just for your information to see the snapshot where the village is with the financials. So I've been working very hard on the audit. I'm ahead of the game, I feel, with it, getting them all the prep work for it, working closely with our 2 auditors that have been in the field with us last year, Brittany and Sherry. And then I reported in the last month at the meeting regarding the encumbrance processes. Roseanne and I are still working in it. I feel it's going to be beneficial for the village. I probably inputted half a dozen entries, so that way when you go into the system, like for instance, if Mike needs to do a purchase of something, he can go into that line item, click a button and see the true picture of how much dollars is left. And then he'll make the request. If he needs a further approval, he'll go to the mayor. Majority of the time it's under the threshold, so he'll come to me with the purchase requisition form and all the preliminary. I just do another double check, sign off, or we talk a little bit about, okay, we need another approval and this and that. So at that point then, I'll make an entry into the system to encumber it, hold those funds for that line item. And then once the invoice comes, Roseanne does the entry of the invoice and kind of like relieves that encumbrance, saying, okay, we can free that money up because now we're going to pay the invoice. And then the process works nicely. So, and that's all I have right now.
It's all very good stuff. Okay. We're going to move on to our Madam Clerk, Kathy Metzler, and I would like to acknowledge that this past Sunday was her 16-year anniversary being employed at the board. And we have a lovely bouquet of flowers that we presented her with tonight. And maybe we'll have some goodies with our coffee tomorrow morning as well. So, happy anniversary, Kathy. And we'll hear your report now.
Okay, couple things that I've been working on, prevailing wage survey for the Department of Labor. I did receive another FOIA last week and finished that. I worked on a proclamation for Kathy Myers, who retired from the Round Lake Area School District 116. She worked for the school district for 33 years. And so we, the mayor and Georgianne and I attended her going away and
Retirement.
retirement party.
Oh, she's not going away.
No, and presented the proclamation to her. I also worked on a memorial resolution for Malia Johnson, which is on the agenda for tonight. And that is it.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on to the mayor's report. And I guess the hot topic is early last week, we had quite a surprise, explosive announcement that came as quite a shock, to put it mildly, to many officials across Lake County, many residents, business owners, and to the Lake County board members themselves. There was a personal statement made by Aaron Lawler, chairman of the Lake County Board. However, he made it clear that he was not speaking for the county board, and this was a personal statement. So we can surmise all kinds of reasons of why this may have happened. I'm not going to go into all of that at this time. But I have talked to Aaron Lawler, and I have talked to our board member, Jeff Werfel, that represents our district, and I have also talked to Bonnie Thompson Carter, who is the chairman of the Public Works and Transportation Committee and represents the district to the west of us. And for the record, I want to make it clear that regardless of what was stated, there has been no new information or reasons that have been brought forth to anyone. The reasons that Aaron Lawler states are reasons that have been there all along as we've gone through this process. And to me, it's just all the more reason of why this environmental impact study needs to be done, because it will tell us once and for all what direction to go and what needs to be done and how much money it costs. So feverishly, there has been many phone calls and emails going back and forth. Bonnie Thompson Carter, I passed out a letter to everyone, to the trustees, that she has written to Chairman Schillerstrom, affirming the support of the environmental impact study going forward as planned. Also, a long conversation with Jeff Werfel, and he is of the same state of mind. And we have asked all the municipalities that supported this to reaffirm. I have had no objections from any board members, so what I would like to do is I'm going to hit the send button tonight of a letter reaffirming our support to Chairman Schillerstrom, and it will be copied to our rep, Jeff Werfel, on the county board, Bonnie Thompson Carter on the county board, and I will copy Chairman Lawler as well. And we are also including the resolution in support of 53 that was passed in 2013. Ironically, the morning that I really found out about this announcement and what it meant was the same morning that I was meeting in our joint municipal effort with the Village of Grays Lake, Round Lake Park, Round Lake, Volo, and Lakemoor. Because we've been working together on two issues. One, to get a jump on the land use plan environmental issues for the purpose of the environmental impact study of Route 53. And then the other effort that we've been working on, and the proof is on the wall here if you're wondering what all this is, we've been combining efforts on the existing Route 120, because whether Route 53 is built or not, or when it is built, improvements still have to be made to the existing Route 120. We know that even if 53 is built, the traffic is not really gonna go down in quantity on 120. It just won't increase as drastically. And I wanna remind everybody that there's houses planned to be built out west in Volo and Lakemore and in part of Round Lake. So I want you to think of 1,000 to 2,000 houses coming down the pike, and think of at least 2 vehicles per. So,
Right for Hainesville.
so what we meant, been working on, if you want to look after the meeting, or maybe we can take a free, like a 5-minute break between the regular board meeting and committee of the whole, these circles identify improvements that each of the municipalities have identified that need to be done. And so we're fine-tuning this so that we are a force to say, here we are these municipalities from 120 and Almond Road all the way out to Route 12. We are in agreement that this is what needs to be done. So this is the western portion coming up through Hainesville and going out east. And if you look right back here at that lawn attachment and that yellow line coming down, that is Hainesville Road going south. And where the alignment would be, where it would connect, that remains to be seen. But that is a key component of what needs to be done. And so we have dollar amounts, ballpark figures on these various improvements. There's a few more that we're trying to fine tune that talk about monies and what this would cost. So this effort is moving forward as well and needs to move forward. And as I finish up my report, before we move forward, I'm going to give Georgianne the floor because Georgianne attended the open house on the Route 83 improvements, and I think she'll have some interesting comments to chime in on the Route 120 thing. But let me just finish up on a couple other things here. Our committee of the whole meeting that follows here, we're doing a workshop with our planner, Al Maiden, on economic development. It's a hot topic and needed for Hainesville. And Trustee Barrett was the liaison for economic development. At this point, we feel the project that we will be pursuing needs to be worked on at the full board level. Also, there were challenges with Trustee Barrett's schedule, which I think will be changing now with his new employment, but nonetheless, there's going to be a change of duty with his liaison work. And so when he's back in town, we'll be meeting and discussing that. I have a couple suggestions. So we will be working on economic development at the full board level only. And that's all I have at this time. Some of the other topics will be following up under business. But Georgianne, tell us a little bit about the open house you attended for Route 83.
What it was just to show the public some proposals that are being considered, and to explain some of the proposals that they've already done away with, and asking for people to make comments. They've divided the change on 83 into the north section, the center section, and the south section. And they're talking about a 4-lane road with turn lane. I guess it would be similar to what 45 was. Another place they're talking about a 4-lane with a median, a flat median, and then there's a raised median as an option. They were talking about putting in a roundabout to help with the traffic. And after all is said and done, they don't have any money to build this thing. They could spend money to do an engineering study, but there's nothing anywhere to build it. I put in some comments. I said no roundabouts. I figure that drivers are having enough trouble just driving without having to be re-educated on how to deal with a roundabout. I made a comment that they should have a right turn lane going east at 120 and 83, which they should have done when they put in the left turn lane. There's no discussion about 83 in all of it.
I mean, 120.
120 in all this. They're saying that Grace Lake is working on something for 120, but they're not even addressing 120 in all this. So it was interesting to see the different things that they're proposing, but I'm not holding my breath any more than 53 getting done. So, but at least they're talking about something.
Well, the difference between the Tollway Board and IDOT, the Tollway Board, quite frankly, Illinois Tollway Board is one of the few organizations in Illinois that has money. They have money. And the EIS was, the start of that study is in their 2016 budget. I was at the December meeting. I made a comment, as did many officials from Lake County, to ensure that that was adopted that day in their budget, and it was. So that budget was adopted, it's a line item, and they are currently in the process of hiring the consultants that will do this environmental impact study. And so that should be done by July, and the actual study will begin in August. So the fact that somebody would make a comment that this should not move forward, okay? And in fact, I want to add, because Jeff Werfel, our district rep, wanted me to make clear for the record, since he was present at the press conference that Aaron held at Prairie Crossing, which nobody knew was taking place at the county board, no officials knew. Jeff lives in Prairie Crossing, and he didn't know about it. He wound up being there at the last minute because this press conference took place, around the corner from his house. So he went there to observe. He wasn't there in support or to be part of it. He was there to observe and listen. And I think what Jeff's stance is correct. Jeff said, at the end of the day, am I willing to say 100% definitively is Route 53 is the only answer and we should do it? Maybe not. But he is 101% for this EIS study taking place and moving forward, because it will end the debate and give us all the answers we need. And the money's there to do it. Yes, it's a lot of money, I get that. But it's not money that's going to be moved to IDOT or anywhere else to do other things. And for the people that keep referring to, studies have been done in Route 53 and prove that the need is not there. It's not the thing to do. Well, that's not true, okay? There were studies done years ago. They were not completed anyway or in any fashion to what this EIS will be. And the last study that everybody keeps referring to was done in the 80s, okay? When did we have the explosive growth in central and western Lake County? After the 80s. And that's why at the public hearing of the Tollway Board in November at the Lake County Permit Facility, again where many officials were making comments, I said the 1990 census of this community census was 134. We are now just under 4,000. So take that proportion and apply it to all the other communities. Don't tell me that the 80 study, which was never completed, okay, because it was kiboshed by other communities that we all know who they are, okay? Not going to go down that road. So the study needs to take place and move forward, period.
Tell us what you really think.
One final thing I will add, June 8th, there is a Lake County Committee meeting. It is the Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting. that is chaired by Bonnie Thompson Carter, and Jeff Warfel is on that committee. I will be in attendance. I think there will be many mayors and officials from the area at that meeting, just again to reinforce for the record that this is the direction we're going. And for the record, we want to remind all the other board members that are on the east end or in other parts of the county how important this is to this neck of the woods and the time and money that these municipalities have invested in this effort. So, with that, I'll finally move on. Let's move on to Grade H Club and any other general announcements.
The next Grade H Club meeting is June 2nd, and we're going to have a movie and discuss our July picnic. BEST, which is an organization that I represent, Hainesville, is bringing everyone's strengths together. It's a network of organizations for the betterment of the Round Lake area. And an interesting program done by CareSmart, dealing with caregivers. And the organization deals with caregivers, seniors, and people with adults with disabilities. And what is now starting is having dementia-friendly communities where they're training first responders, business owners, how to deal with people that have dementia, and to understand how to handle them politely and effectively. And Grays Lake is the first one that's going to be doing it in this area. And they did have a program for the first responders. And I spoke to the gentleman who is organizing these training sessions, and I mentioned to him that since the police department for Grays Lake is also ours, that we would like to be included in any of the programs that they plan for the business owners or for any other residents that they would consider for Grays Lake to consider us too. CareSmart, it's caresmart.org, I think is the website. So for those who are caregivers, they offer support and resources. So I would recommend that you check it out because there are ideas that can make your life a little less stressful. We didn't have a transportation meeting this month. I'm trying to think what else there is. Guess that's all for until we get to the COP.
Okay, all right. Any other announcements at this time?
Just a note, I took the opportunity this weekend to go down to Naperville to view their Civil War reenactment.
To the north wind.
Yeah. And I talked to Abraham Lincoln and his wife, who will be at our event, as well as several other individuals who might be added to our event, which I didn't know about until I went down there to find out about it. So it was a long way to go to see a show, as they say, but it was a profitable endeavor. So we can add some things to our show.
Okay, well, sounds good. We appreciate your research.
Since I won't be up during our committee of the whole, I want to share with the board that Linda and I met with the representatives of Eder and Casella. That was the outside firm that we had to come in and take a look at our office processes. And the report came back. First of all, knowing for my cheapness, came back $5,000 under expectations. So that was pretty good. But even better, they were pleased with our office procedures, processes we use. They listed about 4 suggestions, which I've already met with Kelly and Donna, who are working this week, and gone over. Some have already been implemented. I still have to meet with Ro when she returns from vacation and with Kathy. But they were minor adjustments, so the report was very positive. I just wanted to fill you in on that.
Great. Thank you. Any other announcements? Okay, let's move on to business. First item up is BKD audit engagement letter for fiscal year 2016 in the amount of $20,350.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Darrenowski.
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein. Hines.
Aye.
Daly.
Aye.
And George Duberstein.
Aye.
Motion carried.
About announcements, Linda, did you want to talk about the Memorial Day activities, or do you want to do?
That's on the agenda. It's
Oh, I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
can't look here. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Okay.
Okay, so next item up is approval of Parkway Tree proposal to Native Restoration Services, Inc. for $25,350.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Yes.
Yes, I raised an issue in the email concerning the hackberries, and
And-
I'm going to look into them a little bit more.
Yes, and
I
then,
forwarded that, your email to Dave Coulter.
and I talked to Dave, and we have hackberries in town. In fact, I have a hackberry, and there's not the mess or the berries or the seeds. A lot of these species do have hybrids. There's even elms coming out, and if you look at the quantity, we're only getting 4.
I noted that.
Yeah, and here's why. We're only getting 4 because it is a in-demand species right now for Parkway trees.
I'm not trying to claim to be an expert. I just had some memories of hackberries being messy. I did a little Google search and shared with what I.
No, I get it. I commend you because there's been some other species in past years where I was hesitant because of, thorns or seeds, and then found out that, no, the
So Dave, just to make sure that the variety we get.
yes, he is very confident with his supplier.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call.
Trustees Darrenowski.
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein. Hines.
Aye.
Daly.
Aye.
And George Duberstein.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Too many papers sticking together here.
You want the resolution?
Yeah, too many. Here. Okay, at this time, we have a memorial resolution for local resident and business owner, Dr. Malia Johnson, which I'm going to read. Whereas the Village of Hainesville community has lost a valued member on May 14, 2016, with the passing of Dr. Malia Ann Johnson, and whereas Dr. Malia Johnson resided in the village and was the owner of the Hainesville Chiropractic Clinic for the past 20 years, and whereas Dr. Malia Johnson attended St. Ambrose University, graduating in 1985 with a bachelor's in science, major in biology, and in 1988 graduated with her doctorate of chiropractic from the Palmer College of Chiropractic in Davenport, Iowa, and whereas Dr. Malia Johnson was an active member in the community and touched the lives of everyone she met. She served with excellence on the Grays Lake Exchange Club, coached basketball and volleyball for Grays Lake Park District, St. Joseph's School, and the feeder teams for Grays Lake and Grant High School. Her passion was helping other people, and whereas Dr. Malia Johnson was a supporter of the local food pantries and helped with clothing donations at church, Malia was a member of St. Gilbert Catholic Church and a trusted friend of Calvary Presbyterian Church of Round Lake. And whereas Dr. Malia Johnson had a sense of kindness, energy, and graciousness, and enrich those fortunate enough to know and work with her. And now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Board of Trustees of the Village of Hainesville, Lake County, Illinois as follows. We express our sincere gratefulness for the impact of all the lives that Dr. Malia Johnson has touched, and be it further resolved that the Village of Hainesville extends its sincerest condolences to her family. This resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage, approval, and publication in the manner provided by law. Executed and approved this 24th day of May 2016. Please call the roll.
Trustees Darrenowski.
Aye.
Georgian Duberstein. Aye. Hein.
Aye.
Daly.
Aye.
And George Duberstein.
Aye.
Motion carried. Resolution R16-5-98.
Okay, we will be providing 2 original copies to the family of this resolution. Okay, at this time, we'll move on to the annual seasonal employee increase.
So moved. Second.
We should probably
Put the dollar amount.
the,
Although one's a moot point since we're losing one of them on June 11th, but he still deserves, we're recommending a 50-cent increase from $10.25 to $10.75 for Brandon Seiler and Andrew Barrett, and then a 25% increase for Kyle Hensley, 25 cents, from going from $10 to $10.25.
So moved again.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Darrenowski.
Aye.
Georgian Duberstein. Aye. Hein.
Aye.
Daly.
Aye.
And George Duberstein.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, at this time, we're going to move on to a very hot topic in the village. It comes up every year at this time, and it's a discussion regarding nuisance ordinance, particularly regarding weeds and grass. Other things come into play with garbage cans and so on, but I would say the hottest issue that trustees have been making inquiries about, we have gotten phone calls and emails here at the village hall, is about grass being mowed in a timely manner. And then the other issue is lawns that have a high population of weeds, mainly dandelions. We do not have a homeowners association in our subdivisions. We cannot require by law to make people chemically treat their lawns, so we cannot enforce that. I did go back to Jim Rock, as I have in years past. The standard pretty much across the board at the state level, municipal level, is the 8-inch height, and that pretty much is the recommendation. So there were some questions raised by trustees and residents. What else can we do with this issue? We advertise. Before I open it to the trustees, Chief, I'm going to let you chime in. I think you have an update about recent enforcement.
Yeah, the last few days, we have issued 3 warnings and 13 citations. So I'm sure, well, I already know I've got some calls. I'm sure you all will be getting some also.
Yes.
And I really think the issue here is compliance. So what I'm advising people to do, it's a $25 fine. My advice to people is cut your lawn and go to adjudication and show the judge they can cut your lawn.
So the
And
process
take proper
is
action.
1 warning followed by a citation if you have to revisit?
I feel that this has been out there long enough that we can skip the warnings. The people that got warnings today were people that were actually home when we stopped and were in the process of making arrangements for starting the lawnmower at the time because they saw us coming. So there are a lot more. I mean, we have just...
I love the one comment you got.
I got a few, but one gentleman told us that he doesn't have a lawnmower, so he doesn't. But at any rate, you know, we would like to see compliance more than see fines, I would imagine at this point. So if people could just comply and cut their lawns.
Do you think there's any merit to increasing the fine?
Well, you know, our other option is always that the village can cut the lawn and charge it, and I'm sure that would cost more than the fine. So I don't know that you want to get into the business of lawn cutting, but if that's what it comes
I'll be
down
more
to.
seasonals there.
Well, yeah, but we will pay for them too, I guarantee you that.
I mean, we've done that in extreme cases, and typically it's been with foreclosures and vacant houses before there's a period of limbo where people have vacated and before the bank or mortgage company has full authority. So we have gone out and maintained the yards and then lien the property, and then when the bank or mortgage company takes over, then we get reimbursed at that time. But it is time consuming. You know?
And I think what people don't understand too is with tall grass comes ticks and you know, all kinds of weird bugs that jump on your dog when you're walking your dog and things. So
I suggest that
there's some hazard to it.
leave the fine where it is, and it's, I think the approach as much as we do with the speed, somebody does with a speed trap. You go out, you hit it, you hang a few tickets, word gets around, compliance increases.
Right.
But we may have to hang some more tickets here until people get the word. This is the worst it's been in the 19 years I've been in.
No, I disagree. It was awful 2 years ago when I wrote that very strong letter. Do you remember the letter I sent to every resident in this village? That was the worst year ever. This has been bad. We have had a record amount of rains, I will tell you that. And the other challenge that comes with this is with the dandelions, and you can't make people treat for them, is there are yards that have been mowed, including my own, and we treat for weeds. But after mowing, within 48 hours, especially I'm on a corner lot, and the corner that for whatever reason the weed